amazing and interesting and inspiring stories. I don't know if you know, but I'm a perfectionist. And about myself, I actually like to succeed and I hate to fail. Like when I'm involved in other organizations, first here representing MTC, and then introducing speakers, I actually feel like it's incumbent on me to do well. It's easy to speak about men because you can't really mess up, but when you speak about women, I actually want to make sure that I do it properly. In a proper sneeze way, not like a bad way. My wife is watching, so everything's okay. But I actually don't know that much that I'm comfortable to speak about Rachelli. So I thought, I'm going to be discreet and walk over to Adam and Aaron. I'm going to quietly whisper in their ear, what's the best way to introduce Rachelli? And as I'm there, Rachelli says to me, I just bet them that you're not going to know what to say or how to introduce me. So I think that's actually the best way to introduce her. A strong-minded woman, a bunch of the family. Amanda's a big speaker. Aaron and Adam have both spoke. Rachelli's going to speak. We look forward to hearing the story, and I figure I'm going to save my comments to the end. Easier. So without further ado, apparently the microphone works very well from wherever you're standing, so you don't have to fidget with it. They'll adjust it.
Okay. Very good, by the way.
That's what they told me.
Yeah. I might fix something. You guys hear me?
No, that's not good. All right. Try to compensate for the heels. Better?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So it is both an honor and a privilege to celebrate and reflect upon the transformative power of Kislev in our lives. So to me, Kislev is a reminder of how profoundly different my life has become in ways I could never have imagined. And I feel immense gratitude, and I want to share with you why. Okay, so just like Jay, I also grew up in an area without many Jews at all. We can compare notes. I grew up in Beaconsfield, here in Montreal. So I knew someone whose father was Jewish. Okay, so he was the only other Jew I knew. People didn't really know or care that we were Jewish. But my parents began keeping Shabbos when I was quite young. It was a gradual process. Every week we would learn new things to incorporate into this 25-hour spiritual oasis. So for 25 hours a week, I immersed myself in everything Jewish. However, as I got older, I compartmentalized my life. So on Saturday night, I would change out of my Shabbos clothes, meet up with my non-Jewish friends, and move on. Shabbos felt holy, but the rest of the week didn't. So we moved to Hampstead when I was in early elementary. Now some of my friends were Jewish and not observant. I went to public school. Now there was a brief window where I considered becoming more religious. I convinced my parents to sign me up for Beis Rivka for grade 7. And the principal, Rabbi Minkowitz, actually agreed. And I was very excited to go, and I was enrolled. I was fully enrolled, and I even worked with a tutor to catch up. Sorry, Leah. But before the year started, someone talked my parents out of it, and I didn't go. So to me, that ship sailed. I accepted that I wasn't going to attend a Jewish school, and that my level of observance would remain the same. Deep within me, there was a feeling that I wanted more, but I pushed it aside, socializing and trying to find meaning in my life. So fast forward to my early 20s, when I went away to grad school in Amherst, Massachusetts. So that's a distinctly liberal town. We like to say where the air was fair trade and the sunset was organic. So I assumed that since it was a crunchy, hippie place, that it was a wholesome place. And since I was so used to living a secular life and taking it easy on Shabbos, I figured I could do it all on my own. So after the very first lonely Shabbos, I realized this is just not going to work. And so I called the nearby shluchim, the Kravitskys, and asked to stay with them. and they lovingly welcomed me into their home every Shabbos after that for 2 years. We'll send them the video after this. So Shabbos at the Krivitskys was always bustling. My first week, a few dozen students and 3 families stayed with them, including the rabbi's dear friend, hip-hop singer Matis Yahu. I remember watching him daven, and he was a mainstream singer, but at the same time, at that time, he was so inspired. So during a talk to the student, Rabbi Krivitsky said precisely what I needed to hear. He was saying, we need to let God into every aspect of our lives because our souls yearn to bring light into every situation we're in. It's not the case that sometimes we do holy things and other times we work or live our life. We need to recognize Hashem's involvement in every part of our lives. In other words, weekend, weekday, it makes no difference. He referenced the Hasidic concept of Dirat B'Chatan, a dwelling place for Hashem in the lowest realms. Hasidus teaches us that our mission is to infuse the mundane with holiness, elevate every moment, and recognize the divine spark in all aspects of life. So that moment was my turning point. I realized I had always felt like I was living a double life, Jewish on Shabbos and just like everyone else during the week. It always felt wrong, but now I understood that my weekdays had a holy purpose too. I was empowered and inspired to try to live one cohesive life with Hashem in the picture. So, after Havdalah at the Krivitsky's Chabad house, I didn't rush back to my weekday self. Instead, I went to Matis Yahu's concert with the same friends I had spent Shabbos with, wearing my Shabbos clothes, and it felt right. Since then, Shabbos hasn't just been a spiritual vacation. While it remains an opportunity to connect more deeply to my true self, I now try to bring that connection to the rest of the week. So, the next thing I learned was that creating a dwelling place for Hashem in this world is not about the reward. I had a hard time agreeing with the statement from the Alter Rebbe when he said to Hashem, I don't want your world to come, I just want you. I remember thinking, what's my reward for thinking that I'm not doing this for the reward? But now, I realize that I'm a partner. So imagine being part of a company. As an employee, sometimes you're motivated and other times not. You get a good raise, you're motivated. But if something comes up that's interesting, you might not be committed anymore. That's an employee. Now imagine a partner. They want the company to succeed because it's their company. I now try to recognize that I'm a partner with Hashem. Creating a dwelling place for Him is our mission. And speaking of partners, I recently heard something from Rabbi Sheiskau that really resonated with me. He was saying that being an observant Jew in today's society makes absolutely no sense. It just doesn't add up. Consider the financial aspect of having a bunch of guests on Shabbos with expensive kosher food, private Jewish school tuition. I mean, you're talking about orthodontistry and summer camp. Even the amount of time, energy, and patience you need for a large family, it's not possible. We have, Baruch Hashem, thank God, 6 kids in 8 years. How can 2 people give them everything they need? So it's not possible unless you have a partner, and that partner is the beyond infinite Hashem. Hashem is the third partner in my marriage. Hashem is the third parent to my children. With Hashem as my partner, anything is possible. So I can be his partner, elevating the world with my mitzvahs. Sometimes it's not so hard to do. A blessing before eating food, it's one line. A few coins to tzedakah, acts of kindness to everyone, it's really not so hard. The Rebbe truly believed in our potential. In his Mimer Lo Siyam Eshkela, he wept when he said that we have a limited number of years, months, weeks, hours on this earth. What will we do with our time? The Rebbe believed in us that we can seize every moment for the good. So I can do these mitzvahs happily as often as I can, but eventually I had this thought that really bothered me. If Hashem is my partner, then why does he let me make mistakes? I've made plenty of mistakes. Consider for a moment what it truly means to set aside our own needs in a relationship out of love. It involves allowing others to make mistakes without the need to say, I told you so, or accepting their different opinions without insisting that they're wrong. It means giving them the freedom to explore, to return, to succeed, and to ask questions, all without making them feel inadequate. It involves feeling their emotions with them without trying to fix everything. Sometimes it requires us to stay quiet, even when we desperately want to intervene or offer our advice. Creating space for someone to be different from us means fully accepting and trusting them as they are without trying to change them. This isn't easy for me. Yet, Hashem sets the ultimate example by stepping aside completely, allowing me to grow and find my own path, to make my own mistakes and learn from them. By making space for me, Hashem shows his absolute trust. As we say every morning in Modeh Ani, great is your faith in me. As I stand before you here today, I'm reminded that each one of us has the potential to bring the light of the Chassidus into our lives. By embracing this partnership with Hashem, we can elevate every moment, every action, and every interaction to create a world filled with holiness and divine presence. This is the dwelling place down here that I first heard about at Rabbi Krivitsky's House. May we all be inspired to live our lives with the awareness that we are never alone. This is a 24/7 job, but we have Hashem as our partner.